y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Chrissy T. I'm back with a review on Love and Marriage Huntsville season 6 episode 21. So we pick back up with Melody and Keke out being messy. No, Melody and Kiki, they are at brunch, and Kiki seems to think that her and Tish was in a good place. When did you think y'all was in a good place? Was it in your dreams? Because come on now, you definitely capping right there, girl. So, because I don't recall y'all ever being in a good place. Well, anyway, they are meeting up, and Kiki is full of mess, honey. So she's there and she's spilling tea to Melody about Marceau. So to me, it wasn't tea at all. It was more like some bitter Kool-Aid she was spilling, because this is the same tea or Kool-Aid she's been spilling season after season after season. And you've yet to provide receipts. Don't get me wrong. I do know there has been some infidelity, with Marceau, but for you to come with these outlandish allegations of three ways and stuff, where are the receipts? Where are the receipts? All these allegations and not one woman has come forward. Honestly, not trying to be funny, I didn't think anybody wanted him but Tish. So for me to think that he has three women wanting him is a reach. It's not tea at all. It's definitely Kool-Aid. So yes, Kiki was being very messy, but we know that what she's saying is true as far as the affairs, but we also know that Tish ain't going nowhere. So, okay, he cheated, now what? As she said before, I ain't going nowhere. I'm going to stick beside him. So then Kiki asked Melody how she was doing. Here's where I cracked up at. So she said, what have you been up to? And Mel was like, I'm enjoying life. I'm living. I'm traveling. But girl, let me tell you what happened at this town hall meeting. Well, damn, Melody, you get right into the mess, huh? Let me find out you being messy, Melody. And I actually like you. But Kiki's middle name is Messy. So I think you should probably stay clear away from her. And Melody, you said you don't like being involved in mess and drama, but you're in the midst of mess and drama. Evil communications corrupt good manners. So you don't want to be in the midst of messy when you don't like messy and drama. And Kiki is nothing but mess and drama. Like, I can't trust someone who talks about their own cousin, very toxic, and have children stealing. I mean, if she do it to her cousin child, she'll do it to you. And will this feud ever end? What is the cause of this? Because it's been going on too long. I thought it was because Tish was going around spreading her business about her being on methamphetamines. So it's like just when you think they're taking a step forward, they takes two steps back again. And to me, it's always Kiki being the initiator. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm trying to see things from both of their point of views. But this is crazy. Yeah, I don't like how this is turning out. This is starting to be Love and Hip Hop. So Tish is trying to keep her distance from her cousin because she feels like she can't be trusted. And I think Kiki is more mad about Marceau cheating than Tish is. And I do believe that her throwing that drink in her face was an unprovoked attack. Clearly, Tish was trying to tune her out. Now, by no means am I saying Tish is an angel. I'm simply saying that Kiki throwing a drink in Tish's face was unprovoked. And I believe that her inner child was acting up. She was triggered by being ignored. And that's what set her off. Kiki, we already know Marceau was cheating. Whether Tish acknowledges it or not, we already know. So getting Tish to admit it is like beating a dead horse, girl. So my advice for you is to just move on. Keep her marriage out of your mouth like she asked you to, and I promise you, y'all can move on. But you insist on keeping their marriage in your mouth, and for what? Tish doesn't want to hear it. We already know it's true, but she don't want to hear it. So like y'all have to love each other from a distance. And Kiki is always talking about Tish and her husband. The only thing I've heard Tish say about Kiki this season was about her being on Crime Stoppers and the shade she threw about her not showing up to the baby reveal. But she sure as hell made it to this barbecue. So Mel asked Kiki if she believed the rumors about Marceau and his three-way. And she said no. So you spreading a rumor that you don't even believe is true? If you don't believe the rumor, what is there to tell? Again, we already know Marceau is a cheater. I'm sure Tish knows her husband. I'm sure she knows he's cheating or has cheated. But she wants to keep her marriage, so let it go, girl. She does not care. So Mel said, but not really said, but she insinuated that this is Tish karma. Because regarding her marriage, Tish said, where there is smoke, there is fire. And Mel said, honey, your marriage is up in flames. But she refuses to see it. So Kiki is sharing with Melody that Tish has launched the Macy and Mila hair care line. However, she's expressing some confusion regarding whether or not Tish is collaborating with Stormy. And the reason for this confusion is that the website seems to have Stormy's return policy word for word. And in the contact us section, it references the Canvas Beauty website. Girl. So Mel responds by saying Tish has borrowed more than just a few ideas. Honey, she is the copy and paste queen. Excuse me. So they play a flashback revealing Tish copying Melody, right down to having a logo that bears a striking resemblance to Melody's own logo. Tish even started a podcast discussing marriages, mirroring Melody's ideas. So when it comes to the hair care line for her kids' business, it appears she took inspiration from Melody also. Because remember, Sugar Mama had her hair care line out first. So it's one thing to draw inspiration from other people, but to create a carbon copy, it's crossing the line, and it just shows me she lacks creative originality. Do better, girl. It's okay to borrow, but to copy and paste, that is not okay. So the next scene, we see Maurice buying Kimmy a Jeep after her begging for years. And he said he's trying to make his wife happy as he could because life is too short, especially with her when she was battling cancer. So that reminded him that life is too short. So he's trying to, show her how much he cares. So let me challenge your approach and just urge you to show love and support in other meaningful ways. Like be patient with her. When she's tired, carry her. When she's weak, be her strength. Okay, when she can't see the road ahead, guide her. Do other things besides this material stuff. Do you honestly think material things is going to make her happy? No, it is not. All right, so then Marceau ends up showing up. And he goes from thinking about ways to make his wife happy to expressing his frustrations about their infrequent intimate moments. So he's telling Marceau that they're having intimate moments maybe twice a month. And Marceau is like, well, that's normal. That's, regular married couples. So I, for some reason, thought she was in her 30s, but she's in her early 50s. So her libido decreases during menopause. So that's going to happen. I am sick of them and this storyline that we've been hearing season after season. Get some intimacy therapy. Do something. But this is regular when you're in your midlife, especially during marriage. On another note, why is the cameraman zooming in on Marceau's breasts? Like, what are y'all doing? His nipples are hard. We don't want to see that. But anyway, moving on, Maurice said he's throwing a cookout and he invited everyone, including Stormy and her husband. But Marceau don't seem too thrilled about that. He's not excited to hear that the Steels will be there. But nevertheless, he said he will be in attendance. So then we see Stormy and her husband. He decided not to go to the cookout, leaving Stormy to go by herself. So she tells Courtney that Kiki, so Stormy was sick. She had strep throat and then it got serious, it turned into something else. And she said during that time, Kiki was the first person to reach out to her when she was sick. And her husband was like, yeah, he really liked Kiki. And Stormy said she likes her too, but I'm trying to figure out how long will this last because y'all haven't seen her for who she is yet. I'm thinking Kiki is just trying to get more and more people on her team. What do y'all think? Do y'all think she genuinely cared for Stormy, or is she just trying to get people on her side to support her with the drama that she has with her cousin Tish? So keep in mind that Stormy was feeling some type of way when Tiffany invited Kiki to the baby reveal. She didn't think it was a good idea. So then Stormy tells her husband Courtney that Tish launched her daughter's hair care line and she copied Stormy's shipping policy all the way down to the contact section. Tish, you and Marcel are going down bad. Like, this is secondhand embarrassment. And Stormy said the same thing, that she really felt embarrassed for her. And the audacity for Marcel to say he don't take advice from Stormy, but yet y'all copying and pasting from her website. And to add insult to injury, not only was she the talk of town about stealing her shipping policy, it took her forever to change it. So that's embarrassment on top of embarrassment. So now we see the scene where Tish meets up with Marceau. He's telling her somebody called in the city of Huntsville and was told that they are illegally gambling. And they both sounded so defeated. Tish said that she can't believe that someone would actually do that when the only thing she's trying to do is improve the community and be able to provide housing and give away homes. So they decided to cancel the Bet on Black event. So she started crying because she doesn't understand why she's getting this much hate. I think she's emotional from the humiliation of everything, of stealing ideas from people, the illegal activities. So she's crying because she's being found out, and that she's scamming, and then she's the copy and paste queen, and she's humiliated from that. So she's thinking people are trying to interfere with her marriage and business, but no, she's humiliated from all the shenanigans her and her husband are involved in. So now we get to this infamous cookout that everyone has been waiting for. So everybody showed up except Courtney, honey. He dropped Stormy off at the door. He bounced and then had the nerve to tell Stormy to bring him a plate. But if Courtney thinks that him staying home was a good decision, then I respect that decision, because Marcel can be a bit too much and his mouth escalates things. So if Courtney think it was a good decision, then I support him. And Mel shows up looking gorgeous. Even the Fletchers showed up. I was surprised to see them there. So next we have Tisha and Marceau. What the hell? What was she wearing? She looked like a high school student. I don't know what she was wearing. So Martell shows up. He speaks to Mel, but she paid him dust, honey. So he tried to speak again, and again, she paid him more dust. So then Kiki and her husband arrives. She speaks to everyone. Tish even gave her husband a hug. But when Kiki spoke to her and tried to give her a little side hug, honey, she got up and walked away. I do think it was rude, although they're not on good terms. If you guys, even though you're not on good terms, you're able to remain friendly by not being friends, and that's okay. But that was definitely rude. So Kiki was like, girl, you're so stupid. So how do y'all think Tish should have handled the situation? Should she have been the bigger person and gave her cousin a hug, or even said hi? Or was she right to get up and walk away because she knew the gesture was fake coming from Keke? Say it in the comments. I think she should have spoke. I don't think it kind of set the tone for Kiki's behavior. What she did about walking away, honey, it set her smooth off, and it really did set the tone for the rest of the night. So had she done things differently, I don't think it would have gotten out of hand like it did. So they all sit down and start playing cards. And Kiki started talking to Stormy about Tish and her husband as if they wasn't sitting directly in front of her. And Stormy has no clue what was going on. So she is really trying to have a conversation with Stormy in the middle of a card game. But Tish and Marcel kept talking over her. They wasn't talking to her, but they were talking over her, if that makes sense. So she stayed trying to talk to Stormy about Marcel cheating. So Marcel asked Stormy if she had the two of hearts and the two of diamonds. So Kiki is on 10 right now because she tired of them talking over her, honey. So she snatched those cards from Stormy and she tosses them to Marcel and Tish. So Tish is still trying to tune her out. And she asked somebody to get more cards. So Kiki is still trying to have a conversation with Stormy about Marcel cheating. So she's saying the boyfriend of the woman involved in the cheating is the one that called her, and they were on three-way. So apparently Tish wanted Kiki to fire somebody. They kept bleeping it out. I didn't understand what was going on here, but she wanted her to fire somebody, child. So then Kiki said that she called Tish to say, she wanted to meet up because she had something to tell her. And Tish never showed up. So she goes on to say that Tish never showed up. And if you want to be mad, get glad, scratch your ass. And she flips a drink in Tish's face. Girl, her face was drenched. It looked like she went swimming. And she was so out of line. She wasn't able to control her emotions. And it wasn't that deep to throw a drink, girl. Where is your self-control? I'm not team Tish. I'm not team Kiki, but this was out of line, Kiki. This was totally out of line and uncalled for. Oh, but wait, it gets worse. So Maurice was like, call the police and had this girl drug tested. And her husband got so heated, honey. And he tried to get up and get at Marcel. At the same time, I do think her husband should have acknowledged the fact that what Kiki did was wrong. The whole thing was a mess. Kiki was wrong for what she did. I do think Marcel should have kept his comments to himself and let them handle that amongst themselves. And I know the comment made about her being on drugs really upset her husband, which caused a whole nother confrontation that could have been avoided had he simply just stayed out of it. And if you're going to intervene, do it in a way that you won't escalate things by what you say. So he has to be mindful of the words he speaks because he lacks self-awareness too. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with half the stuff he says to people, and that's problematic. So the next week, we see them all sitting at the table, and Kimmy asks if they think Tish may need some help. So Stormy says, no, she's clean and she's in recovery. So Marcel says, Stormy, stop. Just stop. Have you ever seen anyone do drugs? And Stormy said, as a matter of fact, it was my best friend who used to watch my son, and she no longer lives with us. So Marcel asks her, why don't she live with her now? So why is it she don't live with you now? And that kind of triggered Stormy, and she got up, started crying. Once again, his mouth is getting him in trouble. He tried to apologize, but Stormy was already over it. So next week we see Courtney saying basically, Marcel better chill because he's on borrowed time, honey. You are running out of grace. And it's only a matter of time before things get ugly between Courtney and Marcel. So I'm excited for next week. It's going down. So tell me what y'all think in the comments. Did Tish deserve what Kiki did? Was Kiki wrong? How could they have handled it better? All right, so I'll see y'all next week. Bye.